Avoid these two common mistakes when you try and shallow the golf club. Now, everywhere on YouTube, the internet, there'll be videos about shallowing the golf club. Now, it's fairly important to most golfers. Is it essential for every golfer? Absolutely not. And some of you might already shallow the club naturally without trying. So those guys might need to feel that they're going to try and rotate more through the golf ball to steepen that shaft a little bit. But let's just get into the mistakes people make when they try and shallow the golf club. So there's a couple of key things that people do wrong when they try and shallow the golf club. The first one is when they swing down, they tilt back far too much. This left shoulder gets far too high. Now, that will make the club shallow, but what it does is makes your low point way before the golf ball. So you tend to top shots, thin shots, and fat shots. When you do make contact, because basically your axis is so far back, you hit the ball really high, really weak, and probably really far right. If you really wrap your hands around it, then you are probably going to hit hook shots. And for some of you, the hook shots, obviously compared to a slice, might not be the end of the world initially. But what we don't want to do is feel we lose the pressure in our body as we try and shallow the club. We need to make sure the club is shallowing through the arm and wrist mechanics, and a slight bit of body tilting as well, for sure. But also, if we move the club correctly in the backswing, that gives us a really great chance of being able to shallow it on the way down. The second mistake golfers make is when they try and shallow the club, they try and almost pull the arms down like the ring in a bell. Now what happens then is the centre of mass in the shaft will quite often overtake the hands and the body gets a little bit kind of stuck. The arms get trapped. It needs to be a little bit more dynamic than that. We want a little bit more rotation in the arms ideally, and we don't want the hands to be so far down. The arms are definitely going to be working down, not massively out. Again, we don't want this kind of move either. We need to feed what you need. So if your normal pattern means you need to do more of any of these things, then as a practice swing, as an exaggeration, I am all good with that. We need to definitely influence what you need. If you need the hand path to go more out, feeding that is going to help you. If you need the hands to go more down, feeding that's going to help you. But the ideal scenario would be if we've loaded up the backswing correctly, we tilted and turned and we got these arms in the correct structure. From there, when we shallow the golf club, the lateral move should naturally let the arms drop a bit with gravity. If we rotate hard from the top, the arms are going to come out. So we want a natural move, a bit of patience. We also want a little bit of arm rotation here. So this is arm pronation. You'll see there how that shallows the club. And we want a bit of wrist flexion. So that wrist flick, that arm rotation, and that body slide. And again, a lot of people get worried about the word slide, but the best players in the world will slide 5 to 6 inches on the way down. Most amateur golfers, when I measure them on 3D, do not slide enough. I'd almost categorize it as probably 10 handicap and above don't slide enough. 10 handicap and below is a mix who slide too much and people who still don't slide enough. But we're looking for that 5-6 inches ideally, and letting the arms drop with gravity and rotate to get this golf club in this delivery. This delivery position is absolutely essential to play great golf. What we're talking about there is getting the centre of mass behind the hands in the downswing, getting that club slightly strong, and trying to feel that this right arm is in front of this hip. So if we slide and let the arms rotate and the gravity work, we will get that position. And the delivery position is probably the most important position in golf. If we get the club in the correct delivery position, impact will happen automatically from there. If we're thinking about getting impact right, quite often the delivery position won't be achieved because we won't be trying to get it. We've almost got to feel, okay, we need to load this club up in the backswing, get that club into that delivery position, and then from there, be pretty natural through the ball. That's what we're looking for. So the best way of doing it is practicing exactly that. Load up, let the arms rotate, wrist rotate, slide a little and let these arms drop into that slot. What you can do is take a rod and place it at a slight angle. So it's going to point probably somewhere like 1 o'clock on the clock face, just slightly right at the target. If we're looking at a green in the distance, just right at the green side bunker. And I'm trying to get the golf club into that slot without rotating, with just a slight lateral bump. And then from there, I'm going to try and repeat that as I go and hit the golf ball. And this one is particularly hard for me because I tend to steepen the shaft in transition slightly. Golf swing's not perfect, and then I'll tend to shallow it late. So the more I work on getting this delivery position correct or shallowing this golf club the right way, the better. My cause is sometimes I don't complete my backswing 100% correctly. I lift a little bit because of my flexibility, so I need to turn a little bit more, maintaining the structure, and then slide a little bit, and that would allow this to happen more naturally. But I've also got the myelination, as we would call it, the muscle memory of me moving that way for such a long time. That is difficult. So sometimes when I try and demonstrate these shallowing videos, I get the odd comment saying I didn't shallow it. It's about, again, I use this word a lot in my videos, influencing what you normally do. Most of us could be shallower in the downswing. That'll help more natural speed and torque and rotation through the ball without us trying. So working on trying to shallow it, even if you're steep, will hopefully reduce the amount you're steep to make you play better. Give it a go and let me know how you're getting on.